Today is one of the darkest days in YouTube history. One of the biggest creators on the platform, and I don't mean genitalia-wise, it's probably quite the opposite there, has maliciously spread misinformation on the platform. A cardinal sin, as we know, by the way. And that person is none other than, sadly, Moist Critical. But at least he is going to give us an apology speech about how he is sorry and it will never happen again, and next time it will be different. You know, the classic stuff, but at least he's trying.
It pains me to say this, sports fans, but unfortunately,
I'm not a sports fan, I barely move.
I've been bamboozled. I've been schmeckeldorfed. Unfortunately, I was played like a fiddle. The video I posted last night titled Worst Date Ever may as well have been titled Worst Blunder Ever, because I made a big mistake.
Wait. Is this the worst date ever because the guy is most likely smaller than her because she's sitting and she's still roughly his height? Is that why it is? Because, man, women who go out with shorter men, what's wrong with you? That's a red flag. That is absolutely 100% a red flag. Don't. Be a real woman and say no to short men.
Here. If this was an episode of Penn and Teller's Fool Us, I would have been thoroughly embarrassed by this trick and made as the prime fool for falling for it. The video is staged. It's all smoke mirrors and a script. Nothing about it's real. They made it up. No one's tricked me this hard since the days when Chris Angel was making toothpicks disappear from his fingertips and I was 12 years old still drinking milk and sitting in my diaper. This was a big moment for me. Recognizing that we've advanced far enough in our civilization where sometimes TikTok videos are convincing enough to be believable. So let's go ahead and dive into it.
This is actually a serious problem, by the way. Jokes aside for a moment, this is a serious problem because we are currently in a day and age where previously the world was simple. Groups of interests posted intentional misinformation to get people on their cause, to get them on their side and whatnot. That was all fine. But nowadays, we have entered the age where the average person has probably access just online to enough tools to, make something fake and make it relatively convincing. And, coincidentally, we are also living at a time where people do that a lot just to get a little bit of attention on the internet because, everyone's bored and everyone wants to see something new and interesting. And, well, if you fake a new and interesting video, guess what? Your reward is a little bit of fame in your dreary, boring life. So a lot of people do this. This is the actual real problem, and it's probably going to get a lot worse before it starts to get better.
Let's get down to the brass tacks and the ass facts. This video comes from a user named Kevin Wesley Genie. And from what I can tell, he does occasional skits like this to talk about different things. So kind of like Darman, but believable and not over-the-top ridiculous. What was really smart, and I don't know if it was intentional or just one of those happy accidents Bob Ross talks about, is the fact that the video didn't blow up on his account. It blew up on a different account from a seemingly completely normal user. So it made it more believable and authentic, because if it came from the Kevin Wesley Genie account, it'd be super quick and easy to figure out that it's not real because you'd see other content like this on his page. So it worked out really well in his favor if he was trying to make this a viral video to talk about the modern dating scene or something like that. Now overall, it doesn't really change the video I made about it, since all I'm fucking doing is making jokes about it in the first place. All it changes is that it's not a real situation that I'm making jokes about. So it's not like the biggest deal in the world.
Not even gonna apologize for spreading heinous misinformation to millions. Oh Lord.
But it is still something very silly and a bit embarrassing that I actually just got fooled by a fucking TikTok video. I would have never envisioned a future where there were actual decent actors on there that would be able to pull off something convincing like this. Because most of the time it's very painfully obvious when it's scripted and not real. Like, it's not fooling anyone unless, of course, you're like 6 years old and lack object.
That's not true at all, by the way. That is not true at all. that so much stuff is faked and people never even know it's fake. A lot of confrontations that are made that go viral on TikTok or Twitter are fake in a lot of cases, and no one knows about it until, I don't know, a year later or something like that. And it's really hard to tell fake things from real things when you have only like 20 seconds of information. It's really hard. So you can't. And this is the problem with the modern age. Because, a woman runs up to the car, starts beating on a glass and starting to say, "Pick up the dog poop that you left," and someone calls her a Karen. Are you going to think that's fake? Probably not, because I would expect that from America. But maybe it's fake. A lot of things like that are being faked currently, and we just don't know about it.
Permanence or something. But this one was enough to fool not only me, but a ton of news outlets, as well as a lot of other channels online and Reddit too. And if you're fooling Reddit, you've done something extraordinary. In the land...
If you're fooling Reddit, you probably have a below 90 IQ that you even go to Reddit. I'm not gonna lie, it's not looking good for you.
Of updates, very few things slip through the cracks, so that is quite the achievement. It's just really surprising because, again, a lot of the times the acting on TikTok is atrocious. Worse than something you'd find off the lowest of the low ad on Craigslist or Fiverr or something. And somehow the two people in this video do a really good job of making it really believable. In particular, the guy.
Is he gonna show
the video is delivering the best performance I've seen since my role as the District 8 hospital helper in the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part
I haven't seen the video, so I can't comment.
Part 1. I have no doubt that he probably studied my performance in order to get inspired and really, assimilate into his character. And I'm happy that I was able to provide that for him, but unfortunately, I became my own worst enemy by being the world's greatest actor and world's greatest tutor for upcoming actors as well, because he was able to pull off something pretty impressive here. So it's really the way he's able to convey a very believable range of emotions, such as the astonishment when finding out he's being recorded, the way he stutters through a lot of the statements he tries to make, as well as kind of waffling a bit in order to try and explain himself and how he feels in the face.
I'm not gonna lie, from this description, that video sounds unbelievable.
A date that's being disrespectful, and now in the face of an audience she's recording him for. Honestly, top to bottom, this was just really...
I was checking is that, because in a lot of cases, YouTube actually shows you other videos of the creators here, so it's not showing anything.
Well executed. Most of these, scripted things that are supposed to deliver a message or supposed to be outrage bait or whatever, always fall into the same general categories, don't judge a book by its cover or whatever trending political...
Always judge a book by its cover. Never, dude, whoever says don't judge a book by its cover, firmly, but legally introduce them to the pavement, because those people are idiots. Always judge a book by its cover. It's almost never wrong. Humanity has literally evolved to look at things and from a moment glance, is that dangerous or not? Always judge a book by its cover. If someone's a drooling mess and licking the window glass, what are you gonna do? Judge a book by its cover, or go say hi and see what's up? Always judge a book by its cover. Never listen to any of these drama queens saying, "Oh, don't judge people by this and that." No, always judge people by this and that. That's literally what made your ancestors survive.
Political topic. This one is just a really...
If you see a bank robbery going on, don't go in and don't ask, "Hey, what's up?" Because, you're not judging a book by its cover.
Small scale, very authentic seeming experience that delivered a plot twist that had me for the whole loop-de-loop and pull here. Again, it doesn't really change the video I made on it because it's just joking about the situation that was being displayed. The only thing that changes is it's not a real situation that I was making the jokes about. Now, there is something else I want to briefly touch on here that doesn't directly tie into this, but in the world of everyone being fooled, like me, There is one thing that I think is a very important
Yeah,
PSA, and it has really nothing to do with like fake videos or anything. It has to do with
I'm
fake
looking,
people. And it has to deal with the.
I'm looking in this direction because I'm looking up his video where we can actually see what's going on here, and this is probably the video. Yeah, this seems like the video. Okay. Cool. What's going on, wizards? Okay. So that seems to be the video. Okay. Let's do it like this. Well, let's watch the video, actually. The other one. Google Chrome, Google, I got full verse date of it. There we go. Let's watch this video.
Did you want me to open the door for you? Look, are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory.
God, this just feels so sinister.
There was, you know what there was recently? There was recently a post on Twitter that I saw where women voted for the top 30 places where you shouldn't take a woman out on a first date. And guess what was the first top 30 places where you can't take a woman out on a first date? It was fucking everywhere. Like, you look at that list and you're like, where do you even take a woman out? You can't take her to a restaurant, you can't take her for a coffee, you can't take her for a walk, you can't take her for a hike, you can't take her to a parade, you can't take her to a musical, you can't take her to a movie, you can't take her to a motel, you can't take her to a house, you can't take her to a bar, you can't take her anywhere. Where the hell do you even take a woman? And it was hilarious because women voted for that crap. Okay, so that's like one part of the video, I guess, and here's the second part. Let's check.
Audience for it.
This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant.
Oh.
Who takes someone that looks like this to a
I'm not gonna lie, it kind of her spot kind of looks slightly fake
chain restaurant?
because you can tell that she's doing it really for the camera. But then again, would I call this acting? No. I would not call it acting. I would just say she's definitely doing this now for, you know, publicity. That's what I would 100% say.
You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we gonna talk about it.
I really just don't even.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look fake, but it looks cringeworthy. But yeah, that's what I would expect someone who wants to actually, you know, farm clout and whatnot. So, you know, again, you can't tell these things apart. It is actually so hard to tell fake from real. Every decent person would assume that, you know, oh yeah, she is acting for the camera 100%, and the guy's just like strange or whatever. But you know, who knows, right?
Fitness industry. A lot of the people you see online are using steroids. Whether or not they're open about it, it's going to vary from individual to individual.
Dude, okay, I don't even know how we got here, by the way, just now, but this cannot be expressed enough. If anyone ever shows you a hand and you can see a bulging vein there, 99.9% chance that they're using some kind of juice. Bulging veins don't happen normally, okay? If you have a bulging vein, you were born with that shit probably, you know? You just have that naturally, that your vein is kind of slightly bulgy and visible because of, you know, your structure, because maybe you're a little bit more skinny and you have some natural muscles. But, dude, if you see a bulging vein on someone who lifts, 99.9% chance they're using something. Even higher than that, honestly.
But a large portion of the people you're seeing online with these fucking ridiculous physiques are using steroids.
Obviously.
I appreciate the ones that are open about their stack, but not all of them are. But regardless, it is a huge epidemic, I suppose. I watched a really insightful Vice documentary.
Steroids are now pretty much fair game in a lot of people's eyes, by the way. It's crazy.
About it 2 days ago now. I know Vice has kind of fallen off. They're kind of cringe, I get it. But this is a really well-made piece on just how prevalent steroid use has become for teenagers and young adults. And I, as well as many others, feel that it's entirely because of the state of social media online. Like, I'm sure you all hear how low the barrier of entry is to try and get started with content creation, and it's super true. But when you're trying to get started in the fitness industry, there is at least one barrier. And that's steroids. This is a point that Fillion mentioned in his video.
He means the same as me. You know, steroids are the same as looks. Because how are you gonna get in the fitness industry if you look like an average Joe? You're not. You're not. Because everyone's gonna look at the guy who looks like he's, you know, made of 15 different muscles when there's only 13 different muscles in the human body. Everyone's gonna take advice from him because that motherfucker is creating new groups of muscles that haven't existed before. While you're being there and saying, okay, don't overdo it on the bicycle curls. Dude, it's not even close.
Video where he covered it.
I'm not gonna lie. If I was a fitness guy, I would be sticking up 20 needles up my ass every single day. I mean, people are stupid. People thought that the Liver King was natural. My God, do you need to be an absolute brain-damaged monkey to think that the Liver King was natural? Unbelievable. Like, those people exist. I never even contemplated the idea that the Liver King could be even close to natural. The first time I saw the guy, I was like, holy moly! How many different things does he inject? Wow.
And I think he's right on the money. When you're competing in the fitness space online, you're competing with some of the most yoked out fucking kaiju monsters that humanity has to offer, and they're all on gear. So in order to try and stand out and try and make a career out of this fitness journey, a lot of people feel like they need to be able to compete on an even playing field with them, so they start taking steroids. And it's a fucking awful thing to get.
It's not even that, by the way. When I was a kid in the, what was it, 8th or 9th grade? Dude, we already had one guy who started going to the gym, and he started taking steroids. Why? Because girls like guys with muscles. He started going to the gym like 2 times a week, and 2 months after he already was jacked, and previously he was a small kid. That's all steroids. That's literally all steroids. Everyone knew it, by the way. Everyone knew it. He didn't even properly deny it. He said just no, because he knew everyone knew. But guess what? He wanted girls, and guess what? Girls like that. Girls like guys with muscle. Can you imagine that? Well, first is money, then is muscle. But you know, getting muscle is relatively cheap if you're doing it on roids.
Hooked on. And a lot of people online don't realize just how big steroid usage has become. And I wanted to briefly mention this since I just got fooled by a fake bad date video. I'm sure a lot of you out there watching this may have actually been fooled by a fake fitness influencer making the claim that if you buy their goat urine extract supplement, you'll be able to have 45-pack abs just like them, because they...
I don't know anything about goat urine, but it probably has a lot of health benefits, if I'm being real. Shit like that usually turns out to have a lot of health benefits. There's a lot of wicky-wacky stuff out there that does have a lot of health benefits. I wouldn't be surprised if 10 years down the road, we're gonna find some kind of lost Amazonian tribe that has first contact with humans, and they're all 110 years old, and their secret is that they drink some kind of like camel urine or goat urine every day and rub it on their skin. I would not be surprised.
They refuse to disclose that the reason they look the way they do is the product of course, hard work, but also a large part of it is due to steroids as well. So I'm going to play you just a really short stream clip. I kind of dove into this for quite a while last night, and I won't play the whole thing. I just want to let people know that a lot of the fitness influencers you see online are not the result of just hard work and dedication and a good mindset in the gym. There is
well, They do have dedication, though.
A lot of gear.
Because if you use steroids, the reality is you're not. The later portions of your life are not going to be that great. A lot of people also use it recklessly. Like, look at the Liver King. The guy's probably not making it to 60. The guy is probably not making it to 60. The moment he stops, his body is just going to crumple up and die.
Being used as well. So I don't want anyone to get like body dysmorphia or anything like that. And I was watching Fillian's video covering this. Fillian does a lot of coverage over like fake natty stuff, gear, all of that. And it was just really insightful because I guess I was kind of blind to just how big of a deal it was.
Seen this,
PewDiePie made this video last year talking about how every fitness celebrity is pretending to be natural when they're not, and they're peddling products under the false pretense that you can look like them.
Also, everyone in Hollywood, they do have personal trainers, but they do juice a little bit. They don't juice horribly much, but they do it. They do it. They still do it. Even with 100% professional trainers who literally rip you off for like $20K a month for a 1 hour session every week, that is better than, the average person going 8 hours a day to the gym every day, every week. They still juice it.
When realistically you can't. Kind of like the Liver King. How the Liver King preaches the ancestral tenets and all that. Even though he's got a crazy stack, he is the result of steroids.
Yep.
So I just want to give this blanket advice to everyone out there. Don't believe fitness influencers who are making crazy claims about like what they do to get jacked and ripped. If it looks unnatural, it most likely is. And no amount of buying their...
Yeah, that's the problem. People don't know what looks unnatural. People don't know that bulging veins don't just magically happen. Okay? People don't understand that being fully chiseled is almost near impossible for the average person.
Protein powders or their multivitamins and supplements and all of that is going to get you anywhere close to what they look like.
True. Protein powders actually do work, but they work on making muscle, but they don't work on creating the outlines of this super jacked 100% Bradley Martin looking cut type of stuff.
I want to throw that out there. Because one thing I have talked about is there's a lot of shit that prey on insecure men, and I guess this is a huge one now.
True.
So just be aware, you will not look like those fitness Instagram models and all of that, unless you're doing gear, which you shouldn't do. But why are they so bad if you look so good? True. How can it be bad when I look good? You can get a crazy physique while being natural, but you'll never get a physique like some of the shit you see popping off online now.
Even if you get a... Okay, so the problem with also, by the way, this is completely psychological, why people actually start using steroids. It's pretty simple. Even if you have dedication and you spend 3 years in the gym, you're going to understand it. Wait a minute. My body is never going to look like that because genetically I just can't look like that. I don't have the hormone production levels. I don't have the testosterone production levels or whatever it's needed to actually be the statue of David. You don't just have that naturally. And it doesn't matter how many years you have done it, and it doesn't matter how many years you continue to do it. You will never just biologically be able to access what other people have, and that's when people become depressed about it, because they're training so hard, they're doing so much, and yet their goal is fundamentally unachievable. And not because they did something wrong, not because they're not giving the effort, just because biologically it's unachievable. But it is unachievable if you start using something. And they do. And they do.
Yeah, I just wanted to briefly slide this in here because it does kind of tie into getting fooled by what you see online.
Oh, and this effect gets absolutely exuberated out into space. when something like this happens. Imagine you're working out for 5 years and you want to get buffed, and you're kind of dead. You're kind of almost dead. And then there's this guy who started working out a year ago, and he already has surpassed you, but he is natural. He is sadly natural, but his body is just, built different. He has there's some kind of thing that every body has naturally, and it's a pretty high variety level that allows muscle buildup. And steroids inject that thing into you and they allow crazy muscle buildup because of that. Some people have more of that, some people have less. Imagine you have spent 5 years of your time working out, trying your best. And then comes this one guy who's just working out for a year, and he's already closer to your goals than you are. That's just demoralizing.
Also just had a huge voice crack right there. That was a fucking big one. But yeah, hopefully maybe this is helpful to anyone out there that maybe is, getting body dysmorphia from seeing all of these like TikTok and Instagram fitness models that are blowing up.
How did this turn into a fitness video? Anyway, that was Moist Critical. This was Quizzer Sense, and thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.